Prepping for a new expansion is a common thing that Destiny players do, and for those of you who haven't been around for very long or just want to get yourself ready, I'm going to tell you guys what you might want to do before and after Witch Queen launches. My name is SentinelGray, and welcome to the channel. Now, if you happen to be new to Destiny, you might be asking why the hell you would want to prep for an expansion and what the hell prepping even involves. Well, lucky enough for you, I do got you. Plus, there's even some information that was recently released about the new weapon crafting system that you might want to pay attention to after you get into the game. You know, once the queue times are not an issue. So out of the things you'll want to do before launch, there is stockpiling EXP and materials, cleaning out your vault, and finally, checking your inventory. Let's start off with stockpiling materials. This covers every type of material there is, from planetary materials like spin metal and helium filaments to the most rare ones like enhancement prisms and Ascendant Charts. Luckily, you can get a lot of the materials you'll be needing from our friend Spider in the Tangled Shore before he goes away, gets blown up, whatever the hell you want to call it, because Tangled Shore is going away whenever Witch Queen comes out. But every day for right now, Spider sells different planetary materials for different things. One day he might have Dusklight shards for Glimmer. Another day he might sell the same Dusklight shards for legendary shards. It's honestly random. But by paying attention to what he sells and spending your currency and other materials wisely, you can come out with a pretty good bang for your buck. As an example, most players wait until he sells something for legendary shards, since one legendary shard pays out to like 5 of whatever material it is, and since you can get legendary shards really easily by just dismantling unwanted gear you get. Now, what would these materials be for? Well, with the new expansion, anything is possible, but right now, most of those materials would be going to buy upgrade modules, which is the main component for infusing your gear. During the first days of an expansion, you'll be visiting Banshee a whole hell of a lot for these modules, so it's best to make sure you have more than enough materials to buy whatever you need whenever you need them. Speaking of upgrade modules, you can have up to 25 of them on you at a time. Make sure you have a full stack of them when the expansion starts so you don't have to go running all over the place to try and get upgrade modules every time you do an activity or get a higher level piece of gear or whatever. Now let's move on to the more rare materials: enhancement cores, enhancement prisms, and Ascendant Charts. All of these are going to be used in masterworking armor, so if you find a new piece of armor that has really good stats, you can masterwork it almost immediately if you're full of these things. Enhancement cores you'll be able to get from dismantling legendary, aka purple, quality gear, but it's not always guaranteed. Another way is to do hero or higher difficulty activities. Empire hunts, nightfall strikes, anything hero difficulty or higher is going to reward you with at least one enhancement core. Enhancement prisms, you'll have to do things that are a little bit harder. These are going to come from anything legend or higher difficulty, although I will say the most commonplace players usually seem to get these from are from Master and Grandmaster nightfall strikes. You can also buy these from Banshee and Spider if you have the materials to trade, but since we're trying to stockpile materials, I would leave that as an absolute last resort. Finally, Ascendant Charts, the most rare material in the game. These can come from Master and Grandmaster Nightfalls as well as buying them from Banshee, but like the enhancement prisms, I would only buy them if it's your final option. Another thing you could stock up on, but isn't technically a material, are strange coins, treasure keys, and paraversal hulls from the Dares of Eternity event, encounter, whatever you want to call it. The reason being is because all of this stuff gives you gear. The paraversal hulls, whenever you open them, they give you either treasure keys or gear or materials, whatever. Strange coins, you can buy treasure keys or paraversal hulls. Treasure keys, you get straight up gear, which might end up, whenever Witch Queen comes out, whenever we dismantle it, we may get new materials from dismantling gear. Don't know yet, but if you want to save them, I say that is a wise decision to do so. If you don't, you're not going to miss out on anything. Now let's move on to stockpiling experience points, or as it's commonly referred to as bounty prepping. Bounty prepping is whenever you accept and acquire every type of bounty that you can, complete them, and then do not turn them in once they're completed. Basically what you're doing is stockpiling XP for next season. This not only levels up your battle pass, but also levels your seasonal artifact as well. But why would you want to do this? Well, upgrading the seasonal pass gives you access to bonus XP for certain activities, as well as bonus progress on the seasonal exotic weapon catalyst or what have you. Other things too, sometimes we don't know what they are until the pass comes out, so we may get more materials, we may get bonuses in this or that or whatever. But what about your seasonal artifact? Well, seasonal artifacts are where you can unlock some pretty game-changing mods for your armor. This includes anti-champion mods like anti-barrier, overload, and unstoppable rounds, and you can even get mods that apply debuffs to your enemies when dealt a specific type of damage. Bounty prepping is often more important of a task for players who are going for a day one raid completion, since having access to all of these mods as early as possible is going to make their time in the raid so much easier. Now, granted, if you decide to want to bounty prep, the thing that I would suggest the most is to go around to all of the locations and get the weekly bounties done first. This will give you twice as much EXP as the daily bounties. Plus, you only have a certain amount of room in your quests/bounty tab in the director, so you're going to want to kind of pick and choose which bounties you're going to want to get. The easiest by far are from Shah Han. You go over to him, grab the weekly bounties from Shah, and it's an easy 24,000 XP. Next, we have cleaning out your vault, which may be chocked full of far more crap than you'd like. If you watched any of the videos from Datto or Fallout Plays, you know where I'm going with this. Witch Queen is going to introduce a ton more weapons for us to play with, especially since weapon crafting is becoming a thing. Which, for most people, means we need to make room, and before you even say anything about increased vault space, we're not getting it. And honestly, we probably won't be getting it ever or for a very long time, so get that out of your heads. So what should you get rid of and what should you keep? Well, first of all, dismantle everything that you don't remotely have a use for. Maybe it was a piece of gear that was at max power that you forgot about and it just sat in your vault. Maybe you had to make room quickly in your inventory and just threw something in there. If you can't think of a use for it, then get rid of it. Second is if it's an exotic that you haven't used in months or even years, dismantle it. Exotics can be pulled straight from your collections at any time, so even if a once useless exotic is made useful, you can grab it at any point. And third is sunset weapons. Any sunset weapons that doesn't hold a high kill count or sentimental value, get rid of it. These will do nothing for you but take up space. But like I said, if it has over like 600,000 kills on it and you don't want to get rid of it, keep it, because that's actually pretty special. Finally, the last thing you'll want to do before Witch Queen launches, and I mean like the day before or at least a week before, is make room in your inventory and only bring weapons you're going to actually use. If you're like me, you probably have weapons on you at all times that can fill almost any role you need them to. As an example, I have weapons on me at all times that can be taken into regular Vanguard strikes and also Grandmaster Nightfalls. For the most part, you aren't going to need Grandmaster quality weapon rolls as you're going through the story, or hell, you probably even won't need them in the first week. So, if you're not going to use them, stick them in your vault. This not only frees up space for something I'm going to talk about in a second, but it also prevents you from going to the tower multiple times to change weapons. And for those of you who use third-party gear managers like Dim, usually what happens at the beginning of every expansion or every season, those sites are down for the entire day so that they can update from all the new stuff that's in the game. In short, don't trust Dim on day one, and only have the weapons on you that you want or need. Now what about after Witch Queen launches? Well, thanks to the most recent TWAB that Bungie put out, we got a little bit of information on what weapon crafting is going to involve. If you want to read the TWAB, I will have a link in the description down below. In Witch Queen, quote, randomly rolled weapons throughout the game have a chance to drop with a new ability, Deep Sight Resonance. This will be used as you begin to target specific traits to craft. As an example, if you find a Deep Sight Resonance legendary auto rifle with a Rampage perk, you can complete an objective and extract the essence of the perk to then craft a weapon with Rampage or another perk that increases damage. End quote. These weapons with Deep Sight Resonance are indicated by a red border around the weapon image. My advice to you is that literally any weapon that drops with this red border that has deep sight resonance on it, keep it and use the hell out of it so you can extract the perks that are on that weapon. As of right now, I'm not sure if once you complete an objective for a weapon perk and obtain it, if the weapon will then reset and offer you a chance at the other perk, or if it's a one and done type deal. Honestly, we have no idea how that part of the system works, so we're going to have to find out. But I know for me personally, I'm going to be using these weapons almost exclusively for the first probably week of Witch Queen so I can unlock all the weapon perks that I want to play with. And the last thing I want to remind you of is whenever Witch Queen launches, we most likely will have at least one new destination, maybe two, depending on what happens. But that also means that we're going to have however many destinations there are, that many planetary materials that are going to be produced on that destination. We don't know what they're going to be used for, if they're going to be used just for upgrade modules like the rest of them, or if they'll actually have another use. Regardless, whenever you find these things out in the wild or whatever, make sure you pick them up because you never know what they're going to be used for. That means at the beginning of Witch Queen, you should probably put a resource detector mod on your ghost so that you can find whatever planetary materials there are out within at most a 50-meter range so that you can pick them up and not have to worry about it. Alright guys, that's all I got for today. Sorry, I know this is probably the first video I've made in months, but I've had a lot of personal stuff going on lately. Maybe one day I'll get into it, but not right now. I hope at least this video has helped you guys, you know, prep for Witch Queen, and I hope you have a fun time during Witch Queen. It's gonna be a wild ride. But thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I will see you all next time. And remember, keep your heads up and be kind to each other. Bye now.